So let me pass along to Wendi, and she's going to talk to you and hopefully give you some good foundation that will prepare you for what you're going to hear later from Jeff. So Wendi,
Thanks,
pass
Rush.
the baton.
Oh, can everybody hear me okay? I said to Rush, I never get a microphone. I speak very loudly, so I usually project. So if I'm breaking your eardrums, let me know. But we are going to talk about the next generation, a future forecast today. We're going to talk about how those students are bringing different values, different ideals, different foundation to your campuses in the future. We're going to talk a little bit about who the customer is today, have a little fun. There is some interaction. I hope you all will join me. And how we get in sync with tomorrow's student. Take it all in. We will make sure everyone in this room gets a digital copy of this presentation that you can take back. And my team, myself, Melissa and Rhonda, we're all happy to come do this with your teams if you'd like to have this presentation moving forward. Give it forward to your teams and talk about this. So let's start with the millennials. They're the most researched generation of all times. We've done more insight to this generation than any other generation out there. They grew up in the heyday of the consumer-centric market in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, when people were buying, and it was all about what you were buying and what you were spending on, and becoming a celebrity through the internet, not through talent or through hard work. You could be the next millionaire if you could sing well on the American Idol. When we look at the millennials, we think of some of the stars out there. But we have to remember they're starting to look pretty grown up to us. 29 years old is the average age of a millennial. So when someone tells you that they're on your campus, the average age of millennials is 29 years old. Don't have a lot of those. 52% are homeowners, and 47% are parents. And 36% are earning $75,000 or more a year. So we really look at the millennials. We realize that Beyonce is no longer a single lady, that Britney is a mother of two, and LeBron has moved from Cleveland to Miami and back to Cleveland. And the reason he cites he went back to Cleveland, he wanted a better place for his kids to grow up. So that's not really who we're serving today or tomorrow on our campus. We look at that 16 to 24-year-old market. Today, 78% are millennials. But in 5 short years, 80% will be the next generation, Generation Z. You'll hear several names talked about today. You might hear Generation Z, you might hear the Centennials. Those are all the names that are starting to emerge. They have yet to kind of stamp that name on this generation. But for today's sake, we're going to call them mostly Generation Z. So in 5 short years, your whole demographic on your campus will change. Not that it doesn't change every year, but their values and what they bring to school. These students were born at the turn of a new century. They have smaller expectations, and there's a new context. As they grew up in the recession. They're technologically savvy, they're well-informed, they're self-learners, they're entrepreneurial, and they're diverse. They're the most diverse generation of all times. And they're very collaborative. They're meeting online and collaborating. It's not just about me or meeting in groups. So we do a quick comparison. We have to think the millennials grew up when the iPhone was created. Generation Z, it was already there. They were on version 5 by the time they were born. So they're very tech savvy. They're thinking multiple screens. They're blended. They're the most multi-racial group out there, and they communicate with images. Their attention spans are shorter than ever before. So they're communicating with images. So they're easily misunderstood. They're realists, and they want to work for success. So again, they don't think they're going to win a contest and have a big home. They know they have to work to get to be successful. They are the most ethnically diverse group out there. There's a 400% increase since they were born in multiracial marriage, and that's between black and white. When they look at Asian to white, it goes to 1,000% in the last 20 years. So they are blended and they don't see those race lines as much. And it's not just from interracial marriage, but it's also from adoption, global adoption. They've grown up in a post 9/11 society. So when you think about the movies and things that are influencing them, Divergent, Hunger Games, even Harry Potter, it's students and kids at war with each other, or fighting for their life, or fighting for success. And that's the images that they are having portrayed as their idols. So when we think about their lives, they know that they have to fight for it. And they have been affected by the recession and poverty. They've seen their fathers lose their jobs, or their uncles come home and live with them, or having multifamily households. So they know that success isn't just dropped on their doorstep. So here are some faces of the next generation. This is our first interaction. Can anyone name any of these four? These were Times 2014 Teens of the Year. Anyone name any of them? Yeah? Yep. So we'll start. The first is Moni Davis. Yeah, she was one of the two females that played in the World Series. I bet you didn't know there were two. She kind of took the spotlight, but there were two. And, has been all over the news. Jazz Jennings just signed a contract with CoverGirl. She's an LGBT teen and has a national contract and is known for speaking out since she was a young child as a transgender person. I'm going to not say this name correctly, but Malala was the Pakistani who stood up for female rights in her country, and she won the Nobel Prize. I mean, how amazing at her young age. And of course, Rico Rodriguez, we all know him from Modern Family, but he's even written a book. He's 15 years old and he's already written a book. At least it's not an autobiography. We don't have to all feel too bad. But these are the faces of the generation, and this is who's going to be coming to our campuses in a very, very short time. So our next, tell me a little bit about this generation. Brand loyalty helps them make decisions. True or false? False. You guys are good. Product quality is more important than brand loyalty, and they want to test those products. So think about when they're coming to your campus, how can we get them to interact with those experiences beyond just a tour? Just like Gabe took us on today. They actually get to feel and taste and experience and be with other students. Then they're going to buy that product because they feel in touch with it. They feel like there's quality to it. They feel connected to it. And we see this through all advertising. Mountain Dew has always been the outspoken do extremists, but this generation, completely different. Kickstart has even started selling, starts in a nice living room. Now I know the dog is dancing and the deer comes out of the wall and it's fun, but they're promising a kick of energy and that life is accessible instead of extreme sports. It's not about the X Games, it's about having fun with friends, collaborating, having those social moments. So we're starting to see mainstream advertisers move their advertising to this generation because that's their target audience. So it's no longer about the millennials, it's about Generation Z. They don't want to buy a brand, they want to join them. They want to be part of the family. They want to be part of that experience. They want it to be real. They want to expect brands to make a seamless connection between their lives, real and virtual. So how you show me you're going to be on the web is how you show me you're going to be in real life. So if I see Mountain Dew has fun and my friends and I are going to enjoy it, that's how I'm going to experience it when I have it myself. And they'll leave a brand. They also want to be surprised and delighted. They don't want it to be the same old, same old. So when that sriracha taco comes out and it's fun at Taco Bell and you can get it and you get both chicken and beef or something different, that's part of their drives. They want to be surprised. So when you're thinking about the students, how can we surprise them? Is it a gift basket in their room when they're a freshman and they come check in? And it just says, thank you for being on campus. So they don't have to go to the bookstore and buy that sweatshirt. We're giving it to them. But they want to have that as part of their lives. So our next quiz is, who can tell me what any of these apps offer? What do they do for us? Anybody? Yeah?
Ride share.
Ride share, yeah. Any of the other ones?
Food delivery.
Food delivery, yeah. Laundry, yeah. How about the last one? So Uber is transportation. Grubhub is food. They continue to grow in markets. Just so everyone knows that they're so big that Yelp, everyone knows Yelp, right? They actually bought a company called Eat24, a smaller sister to Grubhub, but they want to compete in that market. So now when you go on Yelp, not only can you get reviews, but you can order food and have it delivered to your house in a minute. Airbnb, that's the paperclip looking one. You actually have the ability to rent someone's castle or rent a room in Austin, Texas for South and Southwest. So it's a B&B service and it's on demand. And then Washio, they'll do your laundry, they'll do your dry cleaning, they come right to your house and drive it. This is all personalized service that this next generation is getting used to. I mean, think about where Uber was 5 years ago and think about where they are today. It's available on demand. How are our services on demand? I want to have it now. I need a car. I need a pickup. I'm not going to wait for a taxi. And they want to pay for what they want to pay. They don't want to pay up front for everything. They want to pay for the service as it comes to them. So these are really important. They're even seeing this in labor now, TaskRabbit. I don't know if you've seen TaskRabbit out there, but they can come do a task for you on demand. You pay for that service, and then it's done. So you don't have to keep someone as an employee. So as you think about your services and how campuses is offering the services to this generation, how are we meeting that need? They're going online to find out about what their purchase is going to be. And then the next part is all about aspirational buying. What that means with this generation is what's the best, what's going to give me that experience, remember what's going to be real, and then I'm going to decide if I can afford it or not. Or I'm going to find a like product. So then they're browsing. I know I really, 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 really want the iPhone, but this knockoff might be okay. So then they make some decisions around that. They've done their research. Then they buy, and then they tell everyone they buy it. So just like when they get their acceptance letter to your schools this spring, they're posting that on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and letting the world know about that decision they've made because they've done a lot of work behind that decision. It wasn't just check a box and I'll maybe decide where I'll go to college. It's much deeper than that of how they'd make that decision. And they're doing that even down to if they're deciding to go to a charter school or an independent school. They're making these decisions and researching them online. They communicate with incredible speed. They're so agile with computers and understanding. So when we think about how they're making decisions and how they're telling their friends, not having a voice that's digital, that they can reach you digitally on their phone, they're going to then post it on the internet. So how do we have a voice for them to reach us on the phone? The phone is in their hand. They're not going to go back to their room and find their computer, or they're not going to find a paper comment card. So being that agile to get their communication and get it for it. Because otherwise they just post it on Yik Yak or Reddit because they know they'll get a response that way. 81% of teens are online. And that number is not at 100 because there are some age restrictions and parents aren't necessarily giving all of their teens iPhones and computers. And 26 would have to fly to be in touch with their entire social network. So they're global. Their friends are no longer down the block, down the street. They actually would have to get on a plane. And they feel very personal about those friendships, even though they might only be online. They feel they're connected because they've shared experiences. Remember, I just told you, I just bought a new iPhone, and I posted it. So we have that conversation just like we're live. So who can guess what this number means? 28,625,322. What does it stand for?
Selfies in the last 10 seconds or something.
Good guess. But not it. Very close. Anybody else? I know you know Rush because I told you. Anybody? Come on. One more guess. Post. Very close, Heather. It is the number. Last year, the heart icon was used in Twitter. So we are all going to have to change how we talk to these students. They talk in pictures. They talk in emojis. We need to become fluent in that. There is a dictionary. If you don't have it on your phone, everybody should download it. There's a dictionary. There's an app for it. And it just amazes me to think. But Twitter does have a counter. It counts all emojis, and they can report out on it. But it's an amazing number if you think in 1 year they posted the heart that many times. So we need to stay in sync with their culture. You know, the social media has transformed the way we communicate. And being innovative leaders, we have to be flexible with social media. So we're going to talk a little bit about social media and some of the I'm going to say this nicely, the scary things that are emerging with social media and this whole next generation of students. They don't want to be traced. Unlike the millennials who want people to know about themselves and post their selfies, you have to ask to be their friends on Twitter. You have to ask to join their groups on Facebook. You can't just like Melissa. We all like Melissa, but you just can't like someone to be their friend. They're turning their geolocators off. So even Starbucks has backed off their services of pushing coupons as you walk by their stores because this generation isn't responding to that. They think it's creepy, which is probably okay. Doesn't mean they're still not out there, but it means that they're a little bit more backed off. So we're going to talk a little bit about Secret and some of the hot apps. Can anyone name any of these apps? Snapchat, Instagram, yeah. Whisper. Yik Yak, Whisper, good. Secret. We got one more up there. Come on, guys. You said Yik Yak? Yeah, we said Yik Yak. There's one more up in the upper left corner. Anybody know what that one is? No? It has to do with connections. Swipe left. Come on, swipe left. There's a commercial on MTV. Tinder, yeah, there you go. Tinder. Tinder is a dating site. Don't know, you walk in a room, anybody who's on Tinder, they pop up on your phone. If you want to like them or hook up with them, you swipe right. If you don't like them, you swipe left. Whole advertising campaign on MTV right now about smoking, and you swipe left to anyone who smokes. Kind of interesting how they're impacting each other. So they want to speak secretly, and they're going to post their views about you secretly. They don't want you to know who does it. Yik Yak, Secret, Whisper. And how do we listen in and monitor those conversations? And we're starting to work with companies so we can monitor them. We don't have to enter them because that's kind of creepy, but we need to know what they're saying so we can be part of it. We also have to know, again, that they can respond to us on a phone instead of going to one of these sites very easily. But it's all about that secret. So, you know, Facebook is the place where you go where mom is and you tell her an update. And the analogy is Facebook is the bad Thanksgiving dinner you don't really want to go to, but mom and grandma are going to show up, so you better be there every once in a while. Average age on Facebook has almost reached about 50 now. So another quiz. This site has over 12 billion minutes watched per month. 12 billion. Over 45 million unique viewers and 6 million total videos. No? So this is a site that's out there. I mean, 12 billion minutes viewed. Come on, they're out there watching this. It's Twitch. You know what Twitch is? It's a site where you go to watch other people play video games. So there are a couple campuses out in California now who are actually adding video games as a sport and giving look, you want me to give you the list? I'll give you the list later. So they can give scholarships to their students. Gaming continues to grow in popularity, and we don't see it waning with this generation at all. So when you think about that many minutes watching other people do something, they're very invested in the internet and their time. But they're also foodies. We continue to see them love food and love to create. They're creators. They love to get their hands in. So today, if we had had a group of students in the room, they would have been up there and wanting to put their hands in that mozzarella dish or ask the chef if they could roll the pasta. So our services have to reflect that because they want to be part of that action and part of that experience. It's not just knowing that the lettuce was from 39 miles away. It's that I want to twist that lettuce. Show me how to twist it off and make that salad. So I have another little quiz. I know, another little quiz. National Restaurant Association, top 5 foods for this year. Anyone think they can name one? Top 5 foods, come on. Sushi. Anything else? Kale. Quinoa. Beets. Anybody see that movie with the chef? There's an ingredient from there in it. No, it's not sriracha. So here are the ingredients that they're saying are coming on. Cauliflower. Sea urchin, that was the ingredient I was looking for. Sea urchin is very emerging. Cabbage and coleslaw. So we're switching from the kale, we're getting more into the cabbages. Belly, umami, and French. There's going to see a reemergence of French food. Simple, lots of flavor, wonderful sauces. So these are some of the emerging flavors. And this isn't just for the millennials. I had to throw something in there about some fun foods. Health and wellness continues to dominate their market. So seeds and nuts will continue to grow. I know there continues to be allergies, but they see a lot of benefits from seeds and nuts. So you'll see a lot of those as toppings and on sides. Green tea continues to get high marks. And so you'll continue to see tea emerge as a beverage of choice. And it's not going to snub out coffee, but it'll be an alternative. Instead of your second cup of coffee, you're going to have a cup of tea. The ancient grains, and of course, gluten-free is not going away today. So we'll continue to see that. So they are aware. This is a generation who grew up going through the supermarket aisles with mom and saying, "Mom, the SpaghettiOs have 13 grams of fat in them." And mom was surprised because their child who was a little bit older might not have realized that. So where their food come from, how it's delivered, and how it's prepared is all really important to them. Their average attention span is 8 seconds. Look at your watch and count down 8 seconds. So it's making it very difficult to teach them. They're a group that, how do you keep their attention when they're used to 5 screens in front of them and keep them involved? And so it's really important. So they're the ultimate consumers of snack media. It's all bits and bytes. And so when we think about communicating them, the brochures of the past with 50 pages of the fact books, and this is where you find the rules, they're not going to spend the time to read those rules. We've got to be 2 steps ahead of them. Is it an emoji that leads them to the next where they need to find something? But if you spell it out too many and there are too many rules, they'll disregard it. So how do we give them little bits and bytes of what they need to learn and how they need to follow things? And how do we make it simple for them? So anyone know who Eric Finman is? He's on his way to becoming a millionaire at 15, just so everyone knows. Another one of Time's Teenagers of the Year. Eric invented a site called Botangle. It's an online tutoring service for high school students and college students. You could actually go on and become a tutor. You could go on and become a student. You pay for the time you need a tutor and for the subject matter expert that you need. And it's a great site because it can be live chats, it can be web interaction, but it's that a la minute service for you. Eric's parents have told him if by the time he's 18 he makes $1 million, he doesn't have to go to college. Pretty impressive. Yes?
Can I just add, similarly, I heard something recently, Forbes put out their list of billionaires, and it was big news that Michael Jordan finally cracked the billionaire list. And you think about his prolific career, perhaps one of the best athletes to ever walk the face of the earth.
Right.
The brand, the clothing, the sneakers, everything just cracked. Franchise
Right.
owner just cracked the billion mark, and just ahead of him on the list was the creator of Snapchat.
Exactly.
24 years old.
Right.
So it's like, you sit there, you put it in perspective. Jordan had to have one of the
Long
most
career.
storied careers of any human to walk the face of the earth, and this kid invented Snapchat, and he's ahead of him on the list at 20.
That's awesome. Thank you. That's a great story. So can you guess what this is? 52% of our students, the Generation Z, uses this site for doing research, to write papers, their homework. And it's the second largest search engine to Bing, Ask, and Yahoo combined. So it's a huge search engine. I know you know. Who is it?
Wikipedia?
No. Close. No. It's YouTube. So they're using YouTube as their research method. Because have you ever looked at YouTube? You want to know how to install a shower door? Look at YouTube. You want to know how to solve a geometry problem? Look at YouTube. Remember we talked. They talk in pictures. They're not talking. So when you spell it out in instructions, it's too hard for them. But if you tell them how to put together that IKEA dresser in a video, they're going to get it like this. Their attention spans are short. Now, don't make it a 10-minute video. Make it a minute video. But that's how they're finding information. So this was a research study done this year by Northeastern about college and the value of college to Generation Z. So one of the questions they asked them is, do they feel college costs are? So what do you think their answer was to that? Oh, I'm not clicking. 65 said college is still worth it. So this generation, again, they're driven to succeed, and they know they have to get an education behind it. So unlike, again, the thinking I can win $1 million from singing a song or dancing a dance, they think education is important. So how do we grasp that in them and keep that true? How do you think they're going to pay for college? Anybody? Scholarships, you're right. You guys were dead on. At least they don't think their parents are going to pay for it. They think some of them think their parents are going to pay for it. But they still predominantly think they've got to either work for it or get a scholarship to make it through college. They understand the expense, and they understand their parents don't have those funds. Do you agree or disagree that colleges should allow students to design their own course or study major? Do you think they agreed or disagreed? Agree? Agree. Yeah, this is a huge, huge trend we're going to see with this generation. Again, it's that customization. Don't put rules around me. Let me feel like I can be part of it. I want to be part of creating something, and that includes my education. So it's not just making the mozzarella, it's making who I am for the future. They're very philanthropic. So 60% of this generation, who is between the age of 10 and 17, could go down to as low as 6, they're saying. They're out there volunteering. They're being part of the community. So they're bringing those values to school, and they're looking for locations that have those types of opportunities. 80% know the man's impact on the world. So if you think about even the millennial generation or the Gen Xers before that were uninformed what happened to that plastic bottle or what happened to that paper we didn't recycle, these students are way informed and way involved in things like sustainability, hunger, and concern about their future and the Earth's future. So some startling, staggering insight to thinking that they're that involved. And they do that research. Where do they do that research? YouTube, right? We learn. They're watching those short videos and hearing about global warming and things like that. So as we think as leaders, it's time to shift our focus from the millennials to the centennials. By next year, they'll start entering our campuses. Some say they entered this year as freshmen. Most are saying next year we'll start to see them. To them, success is a moving target. They've got to be on top of that target and move and be flexible with it. So if it's changing my major or taking a class that's going to make me better in the future, I'm going to do it. If it's volunteering or being part of the conversation, I'm going to do it. Fun is something you have. It's not, you don't deserve fun. It's something you have. So just like the Kickstart ad, I was sitting with my friends, that was good. We had the Kickstart, everybody starts dancing, that's fun. We have that. It's not about extreme. It's more about something that you have. And you do you. You are an individual person, and you're important. And I'm not going to be Kim Kardashian. I'm not going to aspire to be Britney Spears. I'm going to aspire to be me and be the best me I can be, and from that will come success. They know traditional choices don't guarantee success. They've been through a recession. Again, they've watched stories like the Hunger Games. You've got to be the champion, and you've got to stand on top. And they've witnessed older siblings, family members struggle through these times. But they are optimistic. So unlike the last generation, they're very optimistic about the future. And entrepreneurship is something that they'll put in their biographies and in their letters about something they want to do. They want to be entrepreneurs. They want to lead the future. But you have to remember it's a moving target. So we're going to have to balance these two groups in the next couple of years. The centennials and millennials will both be on our campus. So how do we balance this group that has been there, has been research, has been out there, is taking selfies, and this next group who really wants to achieve success and work hard for it and have a little bit of different core value system. So it will be a balance for us all. So some things to think about as they enter our campuses. Remember, they're a very diverse generation, that how you're showing them on your brochures, on your communications, on your websites, they are diverse. So even though your campus isn't, they're coming from a diverse experiences. Might not be. They talk in images and pictures and quick snaps of data. So don't give them reams of paper to describe things. Give them quick, brief, instant facts. Snackable content, multiple screens. So you can't just post on Facebook and hope they're getting the messages. You're going to have to post on Instagram, which might be a picture of a campus tour. You're going to have to post on the website, and you're going to have to also still have things in paper. So multiple screens, multiple medium. They like to make stuff. So what can they help accomplish wherever they're coming, whether it's their next meal, a community service project, building something or planting a tree. They like to make something and feel that accomplishment. Give them control, collaborate with them. So they like to feel part of the process. Not that the millennials didn't, but remember they've been collaborative, doing their homework, doing their projects, their whole lives. And feed their curiosity. Again, if they're left on their own, they're going to find things to research. I think we can give them a lot. They want to know what's behind the walls of the kitchen, take them back and show them the skillet. They want to know in housing, how do we get things fixed? Take them and show them the wrench or the pipes or the steam boiler. They're interested in seeing how things are made and how things are done. So with that, that's my end. Any questions I can try to answer? The data comes from multiple sources, including True, Teen Research Unlimited, who we partner with, Nielsen, Sparks and Honey, who is a predominant teen research company. I noted Northeastern study on college and the value for Generation Z, and the Yankovic monitor. So YouTube, yes, and YouTube. YouTube. But yeah, various sources. So I really tried to bring in some of the best of the best. And like I said, we'll make sure everyone gets a copy of this if you're interested. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
That's great.